Hey everyone, today we're going to be switching out the seat on my bike with one of the Cafe Solo seats. Switching out these seats is pretty straightforward. Harley actually gives you instructions on how to do this. Yeah, it's pretty much you undo a screw, take the seat off, put it back on, that's it. But I'll give you a quick run through of that anyway. If you still have a standard seat on your bike, you're going to have the strap across here, and you're also going to have a Phillips head screw holding the seat on here. I'll just go and grab that just to show you. Gonna have that one. I'm using this head cam thing today for the first time, so I apologize if it's a bit weird. I'm just trying to make sure that I've got everything on camera. If your seat is standard, you will have something like this holding the seat on, and you would have had this strap across here somewhere, which I have obviously removed earlier. And I'm trying to black out most of my bike, so I've changed this out with a thumb screw style. These actually make removing the seat a lot more difficult than it really should be. You've got to do like a whole thing where you undo that, and you've got to like pop the seat back that way. So you've got to like push this, scrunch this up this way, so you've got room to pop it back that way, and unscrew it from here. For me to remove my seat, it goes something a little like this. All I've got to do is undo that one, lift it up, pops off from there, seat is off. I'll unpack this one. See, this is side by side. Not a massive difference in them. It's kind of cooler. The one thing I didn't realize is the Solo seat actually has the little bar and shield branding on the back of it, which I didn't know. That's pretty cool. So yeah, not a huge difference there. I mean, so your seating area here at the widest, from there to there, it's like 265 millimeters. From here, it's 280 at the widest. So this is actually a little bit wider, the seating area. And from there to top of here, 340, 330. So the Solo seat actually gives you a slightly bigger area to sit in, as well as giving you this a bit more back support. Now, looking at it from this way, so it's about, from the seam to the top of the padding is about 95 millimeters, and this one from the seam to the top of the padding is about 100. So there's only like 10 millimeters difference in the drop. But this one's flatter the whole way along. Let's see if I can. So I don't know if you can see that on the video, but the original seat's got like a curve to it, whereas the Solo seat is a bit more flat. And both pretty much the same on the end, the tabs. And underneath, they pretty much are identical from underneath. It just looks like, yeah, it's exactly the same exactly the same seat pan underneath it for both. So that's your main differences. I mean, padding wise, this doesn't feel harder than the original seat. You can just, the padding's a bit deeper on this one obviously. Let's see how it fits. So when you're putting a seat back on, you pretty much want this here lining up underneath that. So you've got to kind of get underneath and down. Mine is a little bit more difficult to do than most because I have the tank lift installed, which actually slides my seat back this way a little bit. So I do have to manhandle the seat a little bit to get it to stick on. Also, according to the instructions, the solo seat can't be fitted with the strap again, which isn't a bad thing because most people that have taken their seats off don't bother putting that back on. That's it, it's on. That is what a Street 500 with a Cafe Solo seat and a tank lift looks like. It's a lot more interesting looking bike. So the reason I'm changing this seat out is kind of got three reasons for it. One, I prefer seats that have a bit more back support. I'm not a big fan of this this year because I don't know, I just like being able to sit back into the bike a little bit. I like having a little bit of support behind me, and I like not feeling like I can slide off the back of the seat. Second to that, I think it looks a lot better. One of the issues that I kind of had with the look of the Street is it's got a it's very flat looking. It's not a very curved sort of bike. It sort of lacks a bit of personality in that region. When you first get them, they're a very flat cafe racer, you know, 70s, 80s style standard motorbike sort of look to it. And the third reason is here in Queensland, we can convert our bikes over to single seat registration by ourselves. We don't need any engineering or anything to do it. If we can change out the seats and change out the pegs, we'll take off the passenger seat pegs, then we can go into our Department of Transport, get the registrations switched over, and it actually makes it cheaper to register. So I'm going to be doing that as well, but that also means that the rear pegs are coming off today as well. Removing the rear pegs is pretty straightforward. Removing this little circlip underneath here, like, I need the 90-degree ones. Those are the 45-degree ends, and they are not going to quite make it. I've just got an interchangeable set of king chrome circlip pliers, so you can switch it out between the different angled ends, which is just done. And those are not going to fit. They're too big. I will file those down. Oh, man, I need to get a bench grinder. Oh, yes. So, back to where we were. All you got to do to remove these, circlip in, squeeze, and insert the circlip, that in there like that. lift it apart, and it should just come straight off like that. And then that just needs to come out. Probably better to use a rubber mallet for this, but I don't really have one at the moment. But if you're gentle enough, you should just be able to get that out. That's not quite going to move, so this was the closest thing I could find. Once again, there's probably much better things to use, but it's not in there with a great deal of pressure. Pin comes out. Peg comes off, and a little spacer there as well. So that's the peg removed. In case you were wondering, for whatever reason, the passenger pegs and the standard pegs that come on the Street 500 are identical. So there you have it. There is the seat change. I should probably nip that down a little more. Seat change, peg removed. It's now good to be switched over to a single seat registration, and it looks better as well. Only thing to do now is to take it out for a ride and see how the seat feels.
First impression, the seat it's harder, but I actually find it more comfortable. Not that it ever felt like this bike was going to take off and slide out from underneath me, but the standard seat is a little bit on the slippery side, and just having that that little bit more support, it's, yeah, you just feel a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more confident in your seating. Actually, I dig it. I think I don't know how it'd go on longer rides, but for doing the around city style riding that I'd mainly do, I think it's good. I dig it. It doesn't really feel all that much lower. It just feels like it's pushed me forward ever so slightly. I'm kind of sitting over the tank a little more, just like a slightly sportier sort of position, I guess. Yeah, no, I dig it. Just, you feel like you're definitely sitting down in the bike a lot more. Like you just, yeah, I think that's the biggest change, is you don't feel like you're sitting so much on top of the bike as you're sitting down in the bike now. And yeah, while it's not as soft, it's definitely, I definitely wouldn't say it's uncomfortable at this stage. So there you go, guys, new seats on. I'm digging it. Pegs are removed, bike is set up and ready for a single seat registration, and hopefully I'll get to the Department of Transport in the next week and get that sorted out, because it does make registration a bit cheaper. I'll probably drop in a video somewhere along the lines how that goes and if there's anything else to look out for with it. But until then, you know, like, subscribe, and if there's anything you would find interesting in a video or whatever else about a Street 500 or anything else, drop me a comment. Cheers.